This demonstration will cover the third of 6 main steps in the process of constructing a hand drawing. What we'll be doing in this step is drawing 5 circles to represent the joints at the base of the thumb and of each finger. Because of the size of the hand that we're drawing, we can trace a quarter and a nickel to make appropriately sized circles, though you can draw them freehand if you choose to, or if you just don't have coins around. These circles will do 2 things. They'll help us orient the fingers, and they'll influence our contour drawing a bit later on. So this big joint at the intersection of the thumb and the wrist is called the carpometacarpal joint, or CMC for short. It's roughly in line with the base of the index finger. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to take our quarter and move it so its left edge is flush with line A, and its bottom edge is about 1/2 inch above line 1. And you can go ahead and trace that, or if you're working digitally like I am, you can just sort of draw a circle. We'll label that T for thumb. And that's all that we're using the quarter for, just to give us a circle for that big joint. Now the joints at the base of the 4 fingers here, along the top edge of the palm, are the metacarpophalangeal joints, or MCP joints for short. They're all a bit smaller than the CMC joint, so we're going to use a nickel to trace those circles. Each of these will be centered, so we'll put the center of the coin on the knuckle curve that we drew in step 2. Now we want these joints to be roughly evenly spaced, so before I actually start tracing circles, along line 2 here, I'm going to draw 2 tick marks to split the line into 4 lanes. So the midpoint of this segment will be 1 inch to the right of A2. Just put a little tick mark there. The midpoint of this segment would be 1 inch to the right of B2. So halfway between B2 and C2. And that gives us 4 lanes. We can park the nickel in each of those lanes to help us draw our circles. So for the first one, we'll take our nickel. And we want the center of the coin on the curve, and we want it parked just in the middle of this lane here. Once that's there, we can draw our circle. I'll label that one I for index. And again, it's not a perfect circle. If I were tracing an actual coin, it would be a lot closer, but it also doesn't need to be a perfect circle for what we're doing. As long as it's close, then it gives us what we need. So for the middle finger, I'm going to take the nickel and slide it up. So it should be a little bit higher if your knuckle curve is drawn the way it's supposed to be drawn. We'll park the coin in the middle of the lane and trace a circle for that MCP joint. Can label that one M for middle. Now we're going to slide the nickel over, center it in the middle of this lane, and try and get the center of the coin on the curve. It should be just a little bit lower than the circle you made for the index finger. So we'll trace the nickel again. Call that one R for ring. Now the pinky one is just a little bit different. This joint is a little closer to the other 3, so it's not exactly evenly spaced. So for this one, instead of centering the nickel in the lane, I'm going to put it so its left edge is flush with the line formed by that tick mark. Then I'm going to drop it down so its center is on the knuckle curve. So I'll trace a circle around this nickel. Label that P for pinky. Then we can slide the nickel out of the way. And that gives us our 5 major joints. And this will get us ready to actually position and draw the thumb and the fingers, which is what we'll be doing in step 4.